Hello everyone, I am Heather. Thank you for joining me for today's video. I just finished watching the reveal of the new ship, the 6th ship for Disney Cruise Line, the Disney Treasure. Now, for many people who were in the chat who apparently didn't know this, the Treasure is, as far as I understand, meant to be a sister ship to the Wish. So just like the Disney Magic and the Disney Wonder are sister ships and are very, very similar, the Disney Dream and the Disney Fantasy are sister ships and are very, very similar. The Disney Wish and the Disney Treasure are meant to be sister ships and are going to be very, very similar. A lot of people in the chat during this live premiere of a video is what it was, seemed surprised that it was so much like the Wish. I was not surprised by that. I was expecting that. There is supposed to be a 3rd ship coming out though after the Treasure, and I don't know, that's a little different for Disney. They usually come out with ships in pairs, so I don't know if that one's going to be similar to the Treasure and the Wish or it'll be something completely different. And of course, the ship that they bought from Genting, the Dream, the World Dream, that they're transforming into a ship for cruises in Asia, basically probably the Chinese market, is a completely different animal and is going to be totally unlike any of the other Disney ships. And Americans very unlikely will ever be cruising on that. So there will be 7 ships in the Disney Cruise Line fleet as of all of these being finished. Right now there are 5. The Disney Wonder, the Disney Magic, the Disney Dream, the Disney Fantasy, and the Disney Wish, and the Treasure is scheduled to come out sometime in 2024. So I watched this premiere. It was originally scheduled to go up on YouTube on August 30th at the same time of day. It was 10 o'clock a.m. my time, which made sense. It covered, pretty much all of North America and Europe, and parts of Asia would be able to watch it too, Africa, South America. They postponed that initial reveal to today, which is Tuesday, September 5th is the day that I'm filming this video and the day that I watched this. It was not a live event, like I think some people were expecting, that it was going to be like actual people speaking to you live. It's just a video. It was a pre-recorded video that they premiered or put up for the first time on YouTube, and it's there now and anybody can go back and watch it. I will put the link to the video down in the description below this video if you want to watch it. I would actually suggest that you watch that either before you watch the rest of this video or right after so you can see what I'm talking about. I was actually glad that they postponed it to today because on the 30th, I feel like I was busy. We were doing something that day and I was not going to be able to watch it that day. But today actually is the first day that I'm home alone with no kids here. Ben is at school. He's already been going to school for a week, and we moved Megan, my daughter, into her dorm at college yesterday, and so she's not here either. And so I had a nice, peaceful, quiet environment to watch this today and take some notes for you so that I can give you my initial reactions to the reveal of the Disney Treasure. Okay, first I have to give you some background. I love Disney Cruise Line. My family loves cruising with Disney Cruise Line. It is our favorite cruise line. However, I have to give you a little caveat for that. I've been cruising on Disney Cruise Line since 2001. In fact, my very first cruise, which I'm going to be making another video about this very soon, so stay tuned. And if you don't want to miss it, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, was on the Disney Magic when it was quite new back in 2001. And that was my first cruise ever. And I've cruised enough on Disney Cruise Line now that I now have gold status with Castaway Club, which is Disney Cruise Line's membership program. Been on quite a few Disney cruises. However, they have all been on what are to date our favorite cruise ships at all, the Disney Wonder and the Disney Magic. We love those classic cruise ships. They're kept up beautifully by Disney Cruise Line. You would never know that they're over 20 years old. We have not been on the Disney Dream or the Disney Fantasy yet. However, I have a cruise booked in 2024 on the Disney Dream, so that will be coming. And I am planning tentatively to go on Disney Fantasy in 2025. So we've got some catching up to do. We haven't been on the Wish yet. I am toying with the idea of skipping ahead and going on the Wish before we go on the Dream and the Fantasy, but that's going to depend on some other factors like my kids' school schedules and finances. So we'll see. I have watched a lot of footage, other YouTube creators' videos about the Disney Wish, so I've seen a lot of footage of it. And the people in the chat just now were right about this on this premiere video that Disney just put out. The treasure is very similar to the Wish. The main difference that I had noticed even in the previously revealed concept art is that the Disney Wish, the main atrium and everything, is very light and bright and has a castle feel and kind of a princessy theme going on overall. The Disney treasure, and I saw a couple of people mention this, and then people kind of got on them about it, but I agree. The Disney treasure has a more masculine, if you will, vibe. Not that we're, classifying these as gender, but it really does. The Wish is more light and bright and feminine and princessy in general. Not that boys won't love it too, but the treasure is darker and more mysterious and just a overall kind of different look to it. Okay, and I'm going to talk about that more when I give you my reactions here. So what this video was, if you haven't watched it yet, it was actually a pre-recorded video with an actor, bearded guy. He kind of looked at the beginning like he was in the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, which if you've ever been to Skipper Canteen at Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World, that's what that's supposed to kind of represent, is the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, which is an old Disney thing that goes back a long time. It kind of looked like he was supposed to be a member of that maybe, but it didn't really explain ever who he was. He was just some actor that none of us have ever seen before. There were quite a few people in the chat who were asking, who is this guy? He was just nobody. He was just some guy that they got to do this. Then there was a voice that was talking to him, which it was implied that he was opening this box in this room that he was at in the beginning that belonged to his grandmother. And then the voice that was talking to him, I could tell it was a black woman from the voice. And a couple people said, is this Whoopi Goldberg? And I'm like, no, it's not. But it sort of sounded like Tiffany Haddish, who was in the new Haunted Mansion movie, if you've seen that, which I loved her in that movie, by the way. She was fantastic. I thought maybe it was her for a little bit, but then I was kind of like, no, I don't think it's her either. It was a black woman. Again, nobody I've ever seen before. I have no idea who she was. They showed her at the end, and it was supposed to be the guy's grandma, and he hugs her and stuff, but I don't know who she was. So if anybody knows who either of those actors were, the bearded guy or the woman, and then there were a few non-speaking actor roles that were supposed to be on board Disney treasure crew, basically, that were kind of in the video. And he had a treasure map, and it was leading him, but it was kind of weird because it was leading him to places on the map, but it was not a map of a ship. It wasn't deck plans. It was just like a regular treasure map. And so the implication was that, I don't know, it was kind of bizarre and it was slow. And I actually got bored. To be honest, it didn't reveal very much new information at all. And it was all concept art because the treasure is still under construction. I saw just today or yesterday that the forward funnel had been delivered. So they're still working on, structural things on the exterior of the ship. It's a long time before they're going to start doing stuff inside. So this was all concept art with the actors superimposed in the concept art. At the end, it looked like they were on the ship, but I caught in several places that they were obviously on the top deck of the Wish, which already exists. So that's where they filmed that end part. They did not film it on the actual treasure because that part of the ship, I'm sure, is not built yet. Okay, so then let me tell you what my reactions were to different parts of the video. Okay, my first thought was they start with the main atrium or the main lobby of the ship. And my first thought was, I don't like that it's not nautical. It doesn't look like a ship. It looks like, again, just like the Wish, it kind of looks more like the lobby of a themed hotel. I think back in the day, they did intend to have an adventure-themed hotel at Walt Disney World. And I almost feel like they've made the Wish and the treasure more like theming that they wanted to build in a hotel, in a resort property at Walt Disney World that they never got to do. So they're like, let's do it on a ship instead. And I don't like that because Walt Disney really liked traveling by ocean liner. If you go on the Art of the Theme tour, which I've done twice now, they explain to you that the whole thing with Disney Cruise Line is the ships combine modern amenities with a classic ocean liner look plus whimsy, okay? And I feel like they did that on the first 4 ships, but on Wish and Treasure, they've gotten away from that a little bit. The exterior of the ships still have the classic ocean liner look, but instead of just modern amenities plus whimsy, I feel like they've gone really heavy on the IP. They're really going full force on the, their intellectual property and their stuff that they own. And it's kind of losing that classic nautical feel that the original ships had. And I think that's a shame. I don't like that. They're kind of doing that in the parks too. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. So instead of just being this really cool ship that has some Disney touches, which I always used as a selling point for people who were afraid it was going to be too much Disney in their face, they've kind of gone all Disney in your face on the Wish and the Treasure, which I don't really like. So, I mean, I'll still have to see what I think of it when I go on the Wish and the Treasure, but so far, that's a part that disappoints me. The main atrium and lobby on the Treasure looks like Agrabah. It's dark and lots of blue, like dark blue and gold. Okay, and it looks like a Middle Eastern palace or something is kind of what they're going for. Okay, and then the other question I had, which I brought up already, is who are these people? Who is this guy that's in the video? And who is this voice? And I was wondering that the whole time, and they never do really explain who they're supposed to be, just that she's his grandma is what they tell you at the end, and that's it. She's leading him on this little journey, this little adventure through this map that he has to explore the ship, but it doesn't really make any ship because the map is a map of nothing. It's not a map of the ship, so I don't know. It's just kind of strange. Okay, I got excited when I saw that, yes, there is a promenade deck. But in the distance, when they were standing on the promenade deck, I definitely saw a set of exterior stairs going up. Now that is just like on the Voyager class ships on Royal Caribbean. We've been on 3 of those. We've been on Navigator of the Seas, Mariner of the Seas, and Explorer of the Seas, and they're like that. You can go all the way around the ship on a promenade deck, but at the bow and the aft and the stern, I can't remember, you have to go up a set of stairs. So it's not handicap accessible, I guess is what I'm saying. So you can get all the way around, but you have to go upstairs. And it kind of looks like that's what the Wish and the Treasure are like. So there is a promenade deck outside, but it doesn't fully go around on one level like the Wonder and the Magic do, which I really, really like. If anybody's been on the Wish and you know if what I'm saying is accurate, let me know in the comments. I missed something. I got to go back and watch this. They mentioned something called Sarabi. It was a Lion King themed something. I think I was chatting with Megan while I was trying to watch the video, and I can't tell, was it a little theater? I don't know what it was. I have to go back and watch that, but there's some kind of Lion King themed something called Sarabi, which isn't that his mom? That's Simba's mom. Is that her name? Sarabi? I think. So it's something, it looked like a little performance venue. I don't know what that was, but I'll have to go back and check that out. Okay. I did like that there's so much blue. Like in the Walt Disney Theater, for example, the seats are all blue in the concept art anyway, and everything, lots of blue. It's a nice, pretty, darker blue. Not quite navy, but just a really nice blue. I like that because it kind of goes with the ocean, I think. It still makes it, darker and more mysterious and that adventure feel. The only thing I worry about is I do worry that the whole ship as a whole is going to feel too dark. And there's definitely been different stages in shipbuilding trends where sometimes they do the decor really dark with dark wood and stuff like that, and sometimes they do it lighter. And in recent years, ships have actually been going lighter. I mean, I think of like the most recent ships from Norwegian cruise lines, for example. They've been going lighter and brighter and things. And so for them to go back to that darker look I thought was kind of surprising. And then what really surprised me was when they showed the rooms, which they showed very briefly and not in any detail at all. They did really kind of push the suites, the special suites that they're going to have. They did not show an inside stateroom at all, which a lot of people in the chat were complaining, where's the inside staterooms? I want to see those. I kind of wanted to see them too. My understanding is that the inside staterooms on Wish do not have the magic portholes, the virtual portholes like they had on the Dream and the Fantasy. Is that right? Did they get rid of those on the Wish? Is there some reason? Does anybody know why they decided not to have? I mean, the Magic and the Wonder don't have them because they didn't have the technology back then, I think. But the Dream and the Fantasy have those magic portholes that show real-time views outside the ship in the inside staterooms. But as far as I know, the Wish does not have them. And they didn't show it in this treasure reveal. But what surprised me in the little bit that they did show of the staterooms was those are very bright. The staterooms are very bright and very light, which is true on the Wish as well. And I remember when they first showed the staterooms on the Wish, when the Wish first came out, I thought, I don't know if that's a good idea with kids because white shows dirt. Light stuff shows dirt and stains a lot easier than dark stuff does. But the advantage of that is it does give your stateroom the impression of being larger and it'll feel lighter and, just brighter and stuff. So that can be nice. But I just worry about on a cruise line that's specifically designed for families and lots of little kids cruise on Disney Cruise Line, are they going to have a problem with keeping all that clean and pristine looking over time? They showed briefly in the theater what the theater is going to look like, and that's where I saw the blue seats. It's kind of like this blue, actually. This blue right here, this is actually a canvas photograph of London, and that's what the Thames is what you're seeing here. The blue on the ship is very similar to this blue here, so if that gives you any idea. They showed a clip of Beauty and the Beast, but they did not specifically state that Beauty and the Beast was going to be one of the shows. The other ships all have 3 original Disney productions on them, and there's different ones on different ships, and a couple of the ships have the same shows, like Disney Believe and things like that. But they didn't specifically say that Disney Beauty and the Beast was going to be one of them. They just showed a clip of it, so I don't know. And they did say that there would be a brand new Disney Cruise Line production on the Treasure, and then they didn't tell us what it was. So that was disappointing, because you're like, oh, what is it going to be? And then they didn't say. So I don't know if they don't know yet, or the show is still in the writing stages or what, but they didn't tell us what it's going to be. So we still have no idea what the 3 shows are going to be on the Disney Treasure. Okay, the lounges was a plus. They showed a couple of lounges, and I'm sure there's going to be more than that. There's more lounges than that on all the other ships. But they showed a kind of a skipper canteen Jungle Cruise themed lounge. So that's pretty cool, and people got excited about that. They really went old school with the theming of the lounges. A lot of people were hoping there was going to be a Haunted Mansion lounge, and maybe there still is because they definitely didn't show all the lounges, but there's definitely going to be a Jungle Cruise or Skipper Canteen style lounge on the Disney Treasure. They said that. And then the other one that they revealed was a Nautilus or Journey Under the Sea submarine themed type lounge with was Periscope something was the name of it. So that's the other new lounge that they revealed in this video. So those are the 2 new ones that we got in the announcement. Okay, I was disappointed with the main dining room announcement. It was done in 2 pieces and it kind of left us hanging. First, they showed us that they're once again going to have Worlds of Marvel. Worlds of Marvel is one of the 3 rotational dining options on the Wish. The one thing I noticed is the look is different. On the Wish, Worlds of Marvel is all red. Everything is red. And on the Treasure, again with the blue, everything was blue. I like the look of the blue for Worlds of Marvel better. But a whole bunch of people were saying in the chat, this doesn't seem like it goes on this ship. And I kind of agree, because It's all kind of old school and adventure type stuff. And then they throw in Worlds of Marvel, which I'm not saying that's not an adventure, but it seemed out of place. Like it seemed like it didn't fit, or it was too modern. And a lot of people in the chat were saying this doesn't go. And I was disappointed with Worlds of Marvel on the Wish. I was hoping they weren't going to have that again and stuff like that. And somebody did point out in the chat that they had designed the treasure before the Wish even went to sea. So this stuff was already in place. And I do not think they've made any changes to the treasure based on people's feedback from the Wish. I don't. I think the whole ordering process and the design process of the treasure was far too far for them to make any treasure based on passenger or customer feedback after the Wish was put to sea. So everything that you're seeing with this, I think, was already set in stone before anybody got to cruise on the Wish. So the things that people don't like about the Wish, like it's, there's bottlenecks, there's some places where there's crowding, things like that. None of that got fixed, is my understanding. So they didn't fix any of those things on the treasure because the design for the treasure was already in place before the Wish even went to sea and anybody cruised on it. So that's kind of a bummer. And then they did not say what the other two restaurants were going to be. They just said Worlds of Marvel. They did say it was going to be a new story. So it's going to be a new, different adventure that you have in that restaurant than you had on the Wish. But then they didn't say what the other two restaurants were going to be. And they never announced the third one. Some people were guessing that it was going to be 1923 again, which is what the third restaurant is on the Wish. The second restaurant on the Wish is Frozen. Is that right? Is it Frozen? I think. On the treasure, it's going to be Coco. It's called Plaza de Coco. And I thought that was an interesting choice. So I guess it's going to be Mexican. Some people were saying, why wasn't it Encanto? I can see that. I think Encanto would be tough because Encanto, remember, is set in Colombia. And I don't know if Colombian or South American or just general Latin American food like that would necessarily go over well with a lot of people, especially kids. But they can probably do Mexican okay. It's probably going to be Americanized Mexican. But Coco is a popular movie and people like the Coco theming and stuff. And so then they can do a whole bunch of stuff with Day of the Dead. And it looked like they were going to have a face actor playing the main guy in Coco, whose name escapes me. He was there playing his guitar. So just like the Rapunzel show in Rapunzel's on the Magic, or Tiana's Place on the Wonder, or the Frozen restaurant on the Wish, it's going to be like that. It's going to be themed after that particular movie with character actors coming around and doing music and interacting with guests and stuff like that. So it's going to be the same thing. That's it. That's all they told us. They didn't tell us anything else. It was about a 25-minute video. I found it quite underwhelming. I was disappointed with the reveal because it really didn't reveal very much. I mean, we already knew what the general spaces of the ship were going to look like before this video. They had showed that in concept art for at least a year now. The only things that I think were actually is that there is going to be a new show, but they didn't reveal what it is. And the two lounges. And then the Plaza de Coco as one of the main dining rooms. That's it. Those were actually the only new things that they announced. So everything else was old news. Or we already knew it. Or it wasn't anything surprising. So there you go. That is my reaction and the information I got from watching the reveal of the Disney treasure that premiered today on September 5th. I will get this video done and up for you as soon as I can. I hope that you appreciated getting this information if you didn't get a chance to watch the reveal or see the news about it. Have you cruised on Disney Cruise Line before? Do you have a favorite ship? If you've been on the Wish and any of the other ships, what do you think of the Wish? And are you excited about the new treasure? Or are you a little disappointed by this announcement? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. I really look forward to hearing what you have to say. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I really appreciate all of your support. Have a great day, everyone, and safe travels.